Well, there's no better time to try this than now. Okay, I guess, I don't know what I'm really going to be doing, since I'm actually trying to, I guess, make a video and then start this truck, which hopefully, there we go. So, I don't know, might as well try and figure out how to get the audio to work really well. I hope the audio ain't too bad, but I guess I'll figure it out. Anyway, just kind of like talk a little bit about what I'm planning on doing. I'm kind of more into automotive, not really content, but be interesting about sharing it with like vehicles and stuff. I mean, obviously I'm driving a semi truck with an extended frame. I have a background in mechanics of working on the road trucks, and it's been good and everything, but as far as, you know, kind of going further and why I'm kind of diving into this is I'm kind of worried. I had a friend who was in mechanics, and it wasn't even heavy duty diesel, but he would do automotive, but he got into an accident a while back and it messed up his back, and so kind of, you know, like I kind of hate, I don't mean to share his story, but they kind of put a thought in my head to where he couldn't work or, you know, turn a wrench anymore. So I'm trying to find a better opportunity of like doing, you know, maybe YouTube or streaming, I don't know. Just trying to even see if the YouTube will even take off. And oh shoot. It just basically made me like kind of reconsider my career in a little bit. I mean, I actually really do enjoy working on diesel. It's had quite a decent I just stalled it. I had quite a decent like paying job for what I did, and for what it was, I mean, I really enjoyed just being able to, you know, take something that was broken and work on it. But I've, you know, changed from that career and still work on diesels, like more of like, I don't want to say like yellow iron, but man, this thing really just peels out. Come on. Just go ahead and spin the wheels all the way up. But, I mean, as far as being in the mechanics, I just kind of got really worried about where I was going to end up being in the future, you know, like in the job that I work at. It's, you know, you're kind of out in the field, like on your own, but I just kind of get worried about, you know, one of those times when I might not be able to come home, you know. That's why I kind of got to be like really safe on what I work. I mean, it's just me sitting on, like, just basically working on a truck out in the field, you know. It wouldn't necessarily be, you know, in the middle of traffic, you know, say like a plant or, you know, a giant parking lot where there isn't really much of anything. I work out on them mostly at night. And, you know, like, I'll be honest, the most terrifying thing probably isn't another person, but like coming across like an animal or something. Like, I freaked out genuinely when I came across like where, like, say these bushes were, and I'd be like over here or something like that, and then just I'd start hearing some rustling, but it'd be like super dark, and then it just come flying, and I'm like, oh, you know, like freaking out, like don't know what I'm gonna do. I have my tools laid out all over the floor, and just like, and then you just see a giant raccoon, but it, you know, I don't have the best eyesight, so I just saw this big fur ball coming my way, you know, like thinking it was a Wolverine or something like that. But I mean, yeah, you have those kind of moments. I mean, I can laugh about it now, but I was genuinely terrified. Spot in the middle of the night, you hear something going on, and it's like, oh, you know, everyone's like, oh, if you're in America, you know, carry a firearm. I mean, you don't have to be scared of anything, but it's like, I don't really like kind of the thought of, like, you know, hurting on anything like that, or like why that would really be an option. Just kind of like, oh, just, you know, hop in the cab or something like that. Oh, they're mad. Let me just be really annoying. Take out my park brake. I mean, you still go to a shop and work on, you know, the trucks or whatever inside a shop along with, like, say your coworkers and stuff. But you just gotta do what you can, and it's not too bad, but I just get worried. I got into an accident not too long, like, a few, like, maybe, was it about a year or two ago? And I mean, I was very fortunate that I didn't get extremely hurt to where I could continue, to be a mechanic. But, like, looking back, I remember having my, like, my boss, I got, like, T-boned. I was going straight and a car just came up and just T-boned me and sent my car flying into a garbage truck. And all I got was, like, maybe like a sprained wrist and maybe a little bit of whiplash. But, like, I remember it happened so early in the morning, I was just, like, dazed, not really knowing what's going on, just trying to, like, call him, like, hey, I'm not gonna make it in. I'm, like, up the street, but I got into an accident. And he's like, oh, where you at? And I'm like, I don't know, because I was just, just got into an accident. And then all of a sudden, I guess someone was saying, oh yeah, no, your mechanic got hit. And so, like, my boss came by and made sure everything was good, I was okay. And I don't think, like, it's kind of funny, I don't even think I got paid for that day, which really sucked. And then I went back to work after getting, a car and stuff. Like, went back to work the next day. Real big bummer, because, I modified my daily driver trying to get it all set up and going. And then, like, had a bunch of aftermarket parts and threw at it. The thing is being, I guess, a guy doing hard manual labor jobs, I don't think a lot of people understand how much they kind of take things for granted. I mean, yeah, they'll kind of look at you like, oh, you're just, a wussy or whatever, kind of having that. But I'm like, yeah, you're probably right, for me being kind of a wuss about it. But, I look at, other people as, like in their 50s or even 40s, and they're just like, man, my body just can't do what it used to anymore. And I don't want to be, I wouldn't say a vegetable, but just kind of like, if I want to do something, like, say, just even like going to a park, or even just trying to go bowling and stuff, and the thought of like, oh, I can't even throw a bowling ball because my shoulders, messed up. Or say I wanted to go to an amusement park or something with that, with like friends or whatever, I'm just like, oh yeah, I can't ride on the rides because my back's messed up. It's just, like, kind of a really sad thing to think about. And I don't think a lot of people, like, know how much that could take for granted, on just having that taken away from you. And I mean, like, thinking of a career change, I mean, I'm just kind of hoping, doing this on the side, man, I can't say this late, just kind of hoping that I can actually do something better that might actually be good for me, like, health-wise and stuff. I have, other friends and stuff, and they're going to the gym, taking really good care of their bodies, and, like, it's interesting just kind of, seeing people grow and, like, try and take care of themselves so they can live a better life. And I mean, I'm not health nut by any means. I don't go to the gym. I don't really exercise all that much. And when I was, like, I guess in high school or like middle school, you just walk everywhere with your friends, or maybe you go out to a skate park or something like that and then ride your bike. I'm kind of fortunate enough I didn't get too hurt doing that stuff or anything like that. I know I'd always at least wear a helmet. Didn't really like it, but kind of like seeing, yes, the typical LA traffic. But just kind of seeing how life can really change in just, a matter of a couple of seconds or just a few moments, and how you have to work around that. And it's just kind of like the risk versus reward. High risk equals high reward, but the problem is you can always have that risk negated by, being safe and doing, making sure you can identify a hazard or something. But, sometimes life just has other plans for you. Not really much anything you can do about that. And a lot of things about it. I don't know how they use my blinkers on this, but uh, like you just don't know where you're gonna end up going, and if you can kind of prevent bad things happening to you, and kind of negate that, I feel like you'd be in a much better situation. Like it's either you have a really interesting job or really bad job. It just really can be up to your mentality about that too. I feel my job's not bad per se, but it's not something that I don't think anybody could really do. And I know I came across some statistics of like the most depressing jobs there are out there, and they're like, well, number one is mechanics, and I'm like, if I didn't love what I do, then yeah, it wouldn't be that bad, but it just kind of, in a way, sucks to think about that it can be taken away from me, like, being, a dumb idiot and, speeding really fast as I probably ran that stop sign, is just like how you can lose that. I mean, it's something that you really enjoy, but not very many people can. I'm happy for people have been able to be mechanics for a long time, but at the same time, like, for how depressing it is, you're either trying to constantly fix something, like working for a company, you fix something and they're just like, cool, and move on to the next thing. But a lot of mechanics are like, oh, then you meet the operators or the drivers of the equipment, and you're like, hey, I have like this one problem, and after how long you've been doing it could be anywhere from like a simple fix or a really complicated issue. But when you fix it, no matter how big or small, they're pretty happy about it, and they always say thank you, or they're really grateful for you to be doing that. And where's the sign for this? Oh, it's only a bus lane. But as you fix things and kind of take care of that, you're like, it makes you feel good. It makes me feel good when I take care of like somebody's issue that it can be so complicated, but or so simple, something that they don't understand, but you can. It does feel good when you do that, but when you're spending years doing something, especially coming from like automotive mechanics to heavy duty mechanics to like yellow iron people who work on, say, the equipment that you normally see at like these kind of areas with like maybe a crane operator or something like that. Well, I don't even know, maybe there are crane mechanics. I wonder how much that they get. I know there's crane operators that make like good money, but anyway, not trying to get too off track, but as you kind of learn about things, it gets easier. And I just feel like not very many people enjoy that. I'm not trying to be like super positive. I mean, I'm just making this video kind of like, I want to say, more authentic. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm Mr. Beast or whatever, even though like everyone's seeing his videos, but kind of, I don't know, just kind of like just vent on YouTube, which probably isn't a good thing. But I mean, I'm not someone who owns a shop or has a lot of anything. I'm still in auto mechanics. Well, not auto mechanics, but I'm still in mechanics, like heavy duty diesel, but I'm not in automotive mechanics as much as I used to. Just kind of work my own personal car, which, it's always funny. If you enjoy working on your own car and stuff and like throwing money at it, don't get into mechanics. Find something better. Because it's a lot of money just to get a job, and it's funny to say this, but they're like, oh, mechanics make so much money. But at the same time, people either fall in one of two traps. Either the first trap, they start investing in tools because you have to bring your own. And I fell into that trap and, end up owing a lot of money to, let's say the tool truck. And then the second trap is either stay in it for so long that you just can't really see yourself doing something else, which I gotta hand my hats off to those guys. But the problem is once you get into that position, when something happens to you, then what else do you do? Like I said, you're working on something. Well, not working on something, but like, let's say you've been a mechanic and you start working on stuff, then you you get good, but then something happens, say, to your body as you get older, and you can no longer continue with that. It's really hard to kind of find into another thing, and the only difference I could really see is finding a maintenance, like HVAC or carpentry, one of those other kind of trade skills that can really help you out. But for me, it's like I don't know where I would really go as far as that. I did, renovate, like house renovation work for a company, and like it how the house you're just cleaning up, trying to get, tear down the sheetrock, tear up the carpet, and the house then had caught in a house fire, and I was tearing down the sheetrock and stuff, and going room to room picking up after it and trying to get it down to the framing so they can re-renovate their house. And in one of the rooms, I think it was maybe the daughter's room from what it looked like, she had a calendar, and it was, I think, a week and a half before Christmas that the calendar was like crossed out to. And I just like thought, because I remember, I think I started working on the house in the mid of January, so it happened fairly recently, and it just made me like really kind of like sad for them that their house just burnt down right before their like Christmas. And I kind of feel like an idiot. Oh, I just hit that car. Oops. To stop afflicted for insurance or drive like a dick. I'm just gonna keep driving. Oh, this truck's way too long. Was that, I'm cleaning up after it, and then I'm kind of like thinking, I'm like, okay, if they had a house fire, what about all their photos? And I remember talking to like my supervisor, I'm like, do they want their photos or anything? And he's like, no, man, like, everything in here, just throw it away. And it just kind of feels really heartbreaking to kind of see that. And, I'm like, it does suck to kind of lose those memories. I know with how everything is like digitized now, like, I mean, YouTube is just really the document things, and I feel like, and I remember I've talked to a few other like of my friends, and they're like, yeah, they post YouTube videos, they're not like super big content creators or anything like that, they're just kind of like, I asked them about it, and I'm like, well, what's your reason behind like YouTube videos? And, well, I just kind of like to do it as like documenting, which I didn't really ever consider that. Oh, it's going to the right. Didn't even consider that you could really document and like keep those memories on YouTube. The kind of the downside of it is it's out for the public to see, but let's say you come back a few years later. I'm looking, like, the first YouTube video I remember was just the dude at the zoo with an elephant, and simple and pure, like how YouTube used to be, versus just all this stuff that's getting pushed out of like, oh, winning $1 million or like cash cows or whatever. It's not what it used to be, where it was like enjoyable. At least for me, you'd watch people just kind of, and it's weird to say this, it's not really stalking, but it's just like, hey, here's my journey in my life. Come and follow along with me. And that's something that I think a lot of people, I have the green light, but anyway, you basically have, like, yeah, you share it with the world, and I mean, if you're very private about your stuff, like, I can understand, like, trying to keep it as secretive as you can, and, there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel, I just want to be able to come back and, like, hey, this is how far it came, this is what it's like to kind of look back, because I feel like a lot of people, I've done, like, photography versus, like, videography, is in photography it's capturing like a singular moment in time, so it's kind of like a timepiece, but with videos it's like a memory that's exactly how you remember it. And depending on what kind of memories that video holds, you can basically just go ahead and recreate that, or not really recreate, but kind of like get back to that point and remember how it went, and like feel that feeling that you had before, But anyway, I kind of got way off topic. I mean, anyway, yeah, just, I don't know. As far as me, going through with, I guess, a YouTube video is, like, I guess you can kind of expect it more automotive content related. I mean, maybe games here and there. I do eventually want to kind of post some real life videos, and as far as I guess that also goes, I'm trying to work with a couple of my friends. He has a couple of, videos about him working on his car and stuff, and he is kind of has an insecurity about, you know, his videos that are, that he wants to post just because he ran into, some pretty rough people. But I'm kind of just doing this as well to kind of like, put my toe in the water first and see how it feels. And so I guess I'm the the dummy who's gonna do it first. But I mean, I might as well just share it out there and kind of share, I guess, my insecurities and how it is, as squirrel brained as I may be. Is I don't see a stop sign. Do I go or do I just? Oh, there's a minivan. My bad. Just kind of just see what's out there, see who finds these videos interesting and what kind of things you can really enjoy. I mean, the only problem other is also is seeing how I explain it. I know I like to kind of escape from my problems, and I found that was like really bad for me. And so I feel like kind of just being able to kind of vent it out for a second and share it with somebody, whether it be one person, nobody, or even maybe some friends who actually do watch this. I've kind of seen the one thing, like, maybe your friends won't support what you're doing, and that's A-okay. I mean, if, you're also new and giving me a shot, that's great. I mean, there's like something that you would actually want to hear or talk about, I'm all for it. As far as more videos, I might probably do maybe more of just, I wouldn't say vents, I guess you could probably call it this way, but kind of like something that's an interesting topic about, like something that I'm kind of passionate about, and someone else who is also kind of passionate about that as well, and kind of either seeing what it's like to kind of dive your toes in the water on what it's like to be, I guess I can't call myself a YouTuber, but I mean this is probably what it's gonna end up on, and just go from there. I hope my keyboard is not too loud, because I did not think about that. I have my headphones on, and so I'm like clacking, and that's probably not too good. But I hope, as far as I guess the one major takeaway from this is kind of see how, what if something happened, just kind of have a plan B. I've always done that, even with my jobs, and like I hate to say it, but kind of being like a job hopper is like I never really like, oh, I'm gonna work for company A for X amount of years and go on a 401k in retirement. It's like, no, I'm there, and then I'm like, I don't know what happens. I'm just gonna have another job lined up if case something happens, and then if I still enjoy the job after that time period, then okay, but I still end up good thing they don't know about that car I hit. But like, oh, having like interest in other companies, maybe something like a career change. I mean, I can't say YouTube's a good, at least for me, a viable opportunity to have as a good opportunity is like, oh, this should be a career change. I mean, that takes a lot of hard work, and I gotta say, like, people who can make one video and it still end up go ham on like pushing out videos. Like, I know the top creator PewDiePie, I've always heard his name in high school, and like even now after high school, of like, oh, he moved from, I think, Switzerland to Japan, or where was he before? Was he in the US? I don't know. But like he would push out a video, I think, every day for years. And the topics, like, yeah, like I mean, I used to watch his videos too. I mean, now he's slowly becoming a father. It's like I never like thought about it, but he also is, I don't think he's thinking about it like a career change, but kind of a shift in focus. And I feel like at some point everyone does that, at least I want to say 3 times, maybe more in their life, to kind of like unless it's something that you build from the ground up, I can understand like staying. But let's say if you're building someone else's like dreams, you just kind of want to expand somewhere else on that. And that's, I could have looked to my left, but above everything else, I mean, I'm gonna park up because I'm probably gonna end this video here shortly, is, just do what makes you happy, document what you can, don't really share it with the world. I will admit I'm just kind of put my toe in the water out on this, and then probably, just seeing what bites, what doesn't. So, as far as anything, it's probably, jeez, it really takes up that much, but no, I shouldn't. I know it's so zoomed in, but basically just do what makes you happy, I mean, I know I just kind of talked about maybe some, excuse me, trying to hold a burp, just talked about maybe some depressing things, but just kind of find stuff, and I mean, for kind of putting my voice out there, just something that you can enjoy, and if something doesn't seem right, just have a plan B. Have, an opportunity to, like, make yourself grow. I mean, give your opportunity to either you meet new people, and I mean, even if you deal with, my lights on, even if you deal with, I want to say social anxiety, because I used to have a big problem with that. It's just, there's VR chat, there's, a lot of different social media platforms, and it's insane how connected you can be with people. Or even, if you don't have really anything like that, I mean, there's always something, and I'm not saying like, oh, you need to go out and, meet somebody on the street. Like, no, don't do that, because I don't know. Some people are nice, but some people are very mean, and I worked in sales. That is not fun. But I guess all I'm really trying to get at is, let's see how this goes, and just have a wonderful day. I mean, if you like the video, go ahead and like it, subscribe if you want, some different content, or not different, but I guess another rant. I'll probably make maybe a few more, like just kind of talking and cruising, maybe probably figure out what's going on with this truck in the next one. Maybe change up the paint, I don't know. Like I said, came from a background of this, and it'd be kind of cool to, I guess, share a passion, even if it's in a virtual world, because ain't no way I'm gonna drop, how much a house is. I mean, this is basically a house on wheels that can carry another house, but I know I need to put a trailer on it, probably shorten the bed, but frame, not a frame, but yeah.